He spent years mocking my worth, crushing my confidence, and laughing at my pain. But the moment I finally walked away forever, he uncovered a truth about my life, my strength, and my future that hit him so hard it destroyed the very ego he built his world on. The night it all began to unravel started with a simple text I didn't send. He thought I was asleep, curled under our sheets, fragile and broken like I had been for years. But I wasn't asleep. I was wide awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling every cruel word he had ever spoken to me echo through my mind. Every insult, every mocking laugh, every moment he made me feel worthless. 4 years, I had allowed him to shape my world, but something inside me had finally snapped. And when that snap happened, it was quieter than anyone would imagine, but it was the loudest thing in the universe. I moved like a shadow through our home, packing a single suitcase, every item carefully chosen. Not because I didn't have the world at my fingertips, but because I had something far more powerful. A plan he would never see coming, a life he could never touch, a truth that would hit him harder than anything he had ever known. 2 minutes into the night, as he laughed at a TV show I didn't even care about, I heard him mutter under his breath, "You'll never do anything without me." It wasn't a question. It was a declaration. The very words I had heard 1,000 times, the words I had lived under, suddenly became fuel. The suspense in the air was thick, almost suffocating. Every step I took toward the door felt like a rebellion, every click of the suitcase zipper a countdown to freedom. I left a note, but not one of apology or explanation. Just one line. Some truths cannot be spoken. They must be lived. Goodbye. By morning, he realized I was gone. The panic in his voice over the phone calls was deliciously silent to me. I didn't answer. I didn't respond. I let the suspense build, knowing exactly when and how he would learn what I had become while he was too busy mocking me to notice. By the 3rd day, he was at the edges of my world, desperately trying to reach me, scanning my social media, calling friends, showing up at places he thought I would be. He was frantic. And that was just the beginning. The first revelation hit him when he learned that I had quietly registered my own business years ago. Years he mocked me for wasting my time, for being naive, for dreaming too small. The documents were real, verified, and detailed, filed in a place only I knew. He had no idea that while he spent nights undermining me, I was quietly building something that could survive him, that could thrive without him. When the news reached him, he laughed at first, because he thought it was a joke. But as the facts became undeniable, the shock turned into disbelief, and the disbelief into panic. He arrived at my office, heart pounding, expecting to confront a defeated woman. Instead, he was greeted by my assistant, a woman who had been with me through every late night, every tough negotiation, every victory he had claimed I couldn't achieve. "She's not here," my assistant said coolly. "She's in New York. She leaves for her first international partnership tomorrow." He staggered back, his ego crumbling with every word. The suspense was killing him. Every step he took to control me had failed. Every insult had only built my resolve. He realized, perhaps too late, that the woman he had humiliated for years was now a force far beyond his reach. But the final blow, the one that would shatter him forever, came when he discovered the truth I had kept closest to my heart. He had assumed that leaving him meant I had nothing, that I was fragile, that I was dependent. But in reality, I had been planning, saving, learning, and preparing for a life where he didn't exist. The documents, the contracts, the investment letters, they were all proof. Proof that while he believed he was crushing me, I was quietly laying the foundation for an empire, a life so far above anything he imagined, it would haunt him forever. He called, pleaded, shouted, begged me to come back, promising he had changed. But I didn't. I would never let the man who laughed at my pain, who tried to diminish me, have power over my destiny again. My heart ached with the memory of what we had been, but I knew that my future demanded a separation so complete it would break him in ways nothing else could. And it did. The ultimate scene, the climax that destroyed him, happened when he finally confronted me, standing in the office of my new building, the city lights shining behind me, my life laid out in every detail he could see but never touch. His face was pale, his confidence gone, his arrogance crushed. He whispered almost inaudibly, I didn't know. And I smiled. Not out of cruelty, but because finally he understood. Not everything can be mocked. Not everything can be broken. And sometimes the person you think is nothing is everything. The suspense, the heartbreak, the emotional weight of years of humiliation, all exploded in that one moment. He realized he had not only lost me, he had underestimated me. He had built his world on pride, on ego, on control, only to watch it crumble because I had built mine on resilience, intelligence, courage, and foresight. I walked away from him, yes, but I walked toward everything he had laughed at, everything he had denied, everything he had claimed I couldn't achieve. And the final truth, the one that haunts him even now, is simple. The woman he thought he owned, the woman he mocked and humiliated for years, is now living a life he can never touch, a life so far above his expectations, that the very foundations of his arrogance are shattered. He spent years breaking me, laughing at me, undermining me, but the moment I walked away, the moment I chose myself, the moment I revealed my strength, he realized he had created his own nightmare. A nightmare of losing someone he could never control, someone he could never diminish, someone who had finally become everything he thought she would never be. And me? I am free. I am strong. I am unstoppable. The life I built while he was busy mocking me is now mine, shining, unbroken, undeniable. The story of humiliation turned into a story of triumph. The woman he underestimated became the legend of her own life. And that, the very moment he discovered the full truth of my strength, my life, and my future, was the moment his entire world collapsed, because for the first time he realized he had lost more than a wife. He had lost the person he never truly knew, me.